The Senate officially convenes as an impeachment court 4 months after the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte were transmitted by the House of Representatives. Wearing their Oxford crimson robes, senators of the 19th Congress on Tuesday, June 10, took their oath as senator judges for the impeachment trial against Duterte. The Senate convened as an impeachment court following Senator Bato de la Rosa's motion for the dismissal of the impeachment case against Duterte. In a privileged speech during the plenary session, Bato cites constitutional infirmities in his motion to dismiss the impeachment case.
Gayon din sana sa impeachment case na ito, the cracks and holes have begun to show. Alam nating may mga tanong na hindi pa nasasagot, lalo na patungkol sa constitutional soundness ng nasabing impeachment complaint. I respectfully move that in view of its constitutional infirmities and questions on the jurisdiction and authority of the 20th Congress, the verified impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte be dismissed.
However, Senate President Chis Escudero ruled that to act on De La Rosa's motion, the Senate should first convene as an impeachment court. He said senators should first take their oaths as judges in the impeachment trial against Duterte. Following the approval of rules, Escudero notes that the first item on the agenda of the impeachment court is to act on De La Rosa's motion. The fate of the resolution seeking to terminate the impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte now rests with the Senate's Justice Panel, headed by Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel. In an ambush interview on Tuesday, June 10, Senate President Chis Escudero was pressed to reveal how the Senate would act on the resolution filed by Senator Robin Hood Padilla with only 2 session days remaining in the 19th Congress. Escudero explains that the resolution must first be referred to the appropriate committee before it can be deliberated. He says that once the resolution is referred, it will be up to the chairman of the Committee on Justice to decide how to act on it. Escudero declines to speculate on what actions the committee chairperson might take. Pimentel is currently the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Justice. Pimentel assumed the position in August 2024, succeeding Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino. Pimentel and Deputy Minority Leader Senator Risa Ontiveros on Monday, June 9, formally called for the convening of the impeachment court to try Duterte. They insisted that the Senate immediately act on the articles of impeachment. After hours of deliberation during Monday's plenary session, the senators reached a supposed compromise. Contrary to the minority block's motion, only Escudero took his oath as presiding officer of the impeachment court. Padilla filed a resolution on Monday seeking to terminate the impeachment proceedings against Duterte. He cited a provision in the Senate rules that states all pending matters and proceedings shall terminate upon the expiration of one Congress. He considered the articles of impeachment against Duterte as a pending matter. The Office of the Vice President says Vice President Sara Duterte left for Malaysia on a personal trip. In an advisory on Tuesday, June 10, the OVP says Duterte is traveling to Kuala Lumpur with her family. However, her office refuses to give details on when exactly Duterte left the country. The OVP says Duterte is also scheduled to attend the Independence Day celebration in Kuala Lumpur on June 12. The Vice President will engage in a consultation program with overseas Filipino workers during her trip. Duterte's trip takes place ahead of her impeachment trial before the Senate. The presentation of the articles of impeachment against Duterte will also take place on Wednesday. The Vice President recently returned to the Philippines on June 5 from a trip to Qatar in the Netherlands. The International Criminal Court's Office of Public Counsel for Victims is formally requesting that former President Rodrigo Duterte's claims regarding the tribunal's non-jurisdiction over the Philippines be dismissed. In a document dated June 9, Principal Counsel Paulina Masida submits that the defense challenge should be dismissed. Masida was appointed to represent the collective interests of potential victims. Masida was referring to the 38-page defense challenge with respect to jurisdiction dated May 1. The defense challenge questioned the ICC's jurisdiction over the former president's arrest for alleged crimes against humanity. Duterte's team used this as a reason to appeal his immediate release and the case against him be nullified forthwith. The document stated that there is no legal basis for the proceedings against Duterte to continue. However, the Office of Public Counsel for Victims says it is clear in the Rome Statute that the Philippines' withdrawal has no legal effect upon the already established jurisdiction of the court. It explains that the prosecutor's preliminary examination already commenced before the country's withdrawal from the Rome Statute became effective. It likewise mentions that victims expressed great concern at the possibility that proceedings against Duterte could be halted if the defense challenge is successful. It adds that the victims consider the ICC's jurisdiction as well established, noting that the court can exercise its jurisdiction over the present case. It says that concluding otherwise would mean upholding impunity and depriving the victims of justice. The Office of Public Counsel for Victims emphasizes that accountability must be a certainty. Should the defense's interpretation be accepted, it stresses that the consequences of such impunity would be dire in the absence of any possibility to obtain justice at the national level. With this appeal, the victim's principal counsel requested that the ICC dismiss the defense challenge.